in Hollywood, they play the same role every movie you see them in. Am I right? You know the kind of actors I'm talking about. It's just them. They're just doing their thing. They're just being them in every movie. It's just regurgitating the same kind of stuff. That's not as much acting as like playing a character that is so 180 degrees from who you are or the last character you played, and that's the challenge of acting. That's why we love it so much. Yes?
As a parent of teenage girls, should I be worried about anything that they see?
Sorry?
As a parent of two teenage girls, should I be worried about any of the handbag that they see?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Were you surprised that I would say that?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, guys. I love anime, and I'm an anime voice actor, but I'm not stupid. There's bad stuff out there, you guys. But you know what? When kids write me and they say, "My mom and dad told me that anime is of the devil and that all anime is bad and it's evil," I write them back and I say, "I want you to share. I want you to show your mom. I want you to let your mom read what I am about to write." And then I'll skip a few lines and I will say, "Dear Mom, you are correct. There is certainly bad anime. Just like there are bad movies and bad music and bad magazines and bad TV shows and bad books. The goal is not to throw everything out. The goal is to embrace and enjoy the good while avoiding the bad." That's the challenge we all have. So as a parent, absolutely. But you know what? I think your daughters will be far better for it, and I think it's really good that you take an interest. My mom took an interest in things that I liked, things that I cared about, and she made sure that I understood the difference. And because you guys, I gotta tell you something. Once you let something in your eyeballs, you can't get it out. You understand what I'm saying? Once you watch something that is trashy or evil, or you can't unwatch it. It is burned in your brain's memory banks. And you may be sorry, or you may get addicted, or you may it may take you down a road you did never ever want to go down. So let your friends, let your parents help you make good decisions about that kind of stuff. Because I want you to watch great shows, I want you to watch good shows, but I also want you to be healthy. I want you to be whole. I don't want you to be, screwed up and tainted by garbage that's out there. And I don't care whether it's anime or movies or video games. I forgot that one in the list. There's bad stuff in every genre of media. And your challenge as a good thinking, smart person, doesn't matter how old you are. Be smart. Make good choices. Stay away from the garbage and enjoy the good stuff. Yes, ma'am.
What's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you at a con?
Sorry?
What's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you at a convention?
What's the strangest thing that's ever happened at a con?
Like the weirdest thing that...
Well, there have been some weird things. In fact, I know that I end up repeating the same things because they're the weirdest things. You know what I mean? So if you've seen any videos on YouTube where I've talked about weird things, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but a couple of weird things that have happened, actually in Corpus Christi. I was at a convention and a girl back in the corner came up to me. Her group of her friends were standing in the back corner, and she came up to me and she very softly and very politely asked me if she could lick my hand. And I was like, ugh. Oh, sweetheart, no, sorry, no. And then she started crying. I was like, oh my gosh, don't do this to me, please. Because I want you guys to have a great time, and I want to do anything that I can do at a convention to make sure that you have a good time. But, and then finally, when she gathered her breath from crying, and she said, my friends, I told them that you really love your fans and that you'll do anything for your fans. And they dared me to come up here and ask you to do that, and I bet them all my money that you would do it. I can't believe this. So now I'm responsible for this girl losing all her money, right? Well, I don't even know how much money it was, but I was feeling pretty bad. So, what do you think I did? Yeah, so I let her do it. And now she like goes to conventions bragging that she's the girl that licked my hand. I don't know, that doesn't really seem like something you would want to brag about, but she does it. And another time I had, somebody gave me an envelope with a chunk of their hair in it. Travis was with me, ask Travis, he knows. Travis and Laura, we were sitting at a panel. We were sitting at a table just like this, and some girl in the back room goes, I have a present for Vic! I'm like, oh, sweetie, you didn't have to give me a present. And she came running up the middle aisle and she handed me this envelope. And like, I was sitting there with Travis and Laura, and I opened the envelope and it had a paper folded up, and I unfolded the paper, and right there in the crease of the paper was like a chunk of hair. Like, maybe. Yes, sir.
Bleach. How many times did you find yourself laughing at Ikaku?
Oh, I love him.
How much did you enjoy doing his whole deal with his Bankai?
Oh yeah, Ikaku's awesome. He's very cool. People always say, you always play characters with blonde hair. No, I don't. I play some characters with no hair. But anytime anyone brings an Ikaku, like a manga or a poster or a wall scroll for me to sign, I like draw hair on him. Because, you know, he's a little self-conscious about that, right? Nice. Excellent. I really enjoyed him a lot. One of my favorite things about Ikaku is he doesn't sound like me. When the first few episodes were released, a lot of people didn't know that, you know, they didn't know it was me, and they wrote me for a few weeks in, and they're like, man, that doesn't sound anything like you. So that's cool. I didn't even know that was you. I love that. I mean, you know, some voice actors have very recognizable voices. There's just something about the tone of their voice. You recognize it immediately. And I guess I'm one of them in a way, but then occasionally, with the 200 different series that I've done, I was telling Horny Boy about, you know, there are plenty of characters that I've played that sound very different than the ones that I'm most known for. And Ikaku is one of those that just is, he's very different from me, you know. Bunkai, you know. So I love doing him. And then when the other characters came into Bleach, like Senbon Zakura, Huzukimaru, playing those different characters, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for asking about him. I love him. Yes, my dear.
So your words in the head of mine playing Tamaki voice, what would you think you would say to Honey Senpai?
Say again?
You did the voice of Tamaki.
Uh-huh.
What would you think you would say to Honey Senpai?
What would he say to Honey Senpai about what?
Through your mind, what would you think he would say to him?
Well, he said a lot of things to Honey. I mean, he teases Honey a lot about, you know, of course, eating cake all the time, and of course, obviously, Tamaki loves Honey, right? Obviously, because he chose Honey to be in the host club. And if you think about it, I mean, that's, you know, Tamaki basically made himself a family. You know what I mean? He didn't have a great family life. You guys watched the show, right? He has no relationship with his family. You know, his mom like disappeared or something, and he's raised by his grandmother or something, right? I mean, his grandmother hates him. Or, you know what I mean? Not a lot of family relationship. So what does he do? He puts together a group of people in his school that kind of become like a family unit. And even refers to himself as daddy, and, you know, Kyoya's mommy, and right? It's like they have a little house, they're having a little family together. And I think he loves Honey to death. And my goodness, what Lucy Christian did with Honey, I just love. When people ask me like who is my favorite host, I always tell them Honey was my favorite. Because I mean, I just could not get enough of Lucy's cute little voice doing Honey Senpai. She was so adorable. Question? Yes, sir.
Did you handle playing Broly differently than all your other characters?
Did I handle playing Broly different than my other characters?
Like, did you ask, like, Chris for advice on the yelling?
Well, no, I didn't think I needed any advice on how to yell. I've been doing that for a long time by the time I played Broly. But at the same time, I mean, there is no secret. There's no magic way to yell. If you want